Hello everyone, and welcome to today's lesson. Today we are going to be learning about modal verbs. First in our lesson, we are going to cover what is a modal verb. Then we'll take a look at the 8 uses of modal verbs. And finally, we'll play a little game to get some practice. So let's get started. What is a modal verb? Modal verbs express condition. They transform sentences to show that the verb is conditional. This means that something is not certain or sure. It depends on something else. In the basic sentence, I study with her every day, we can see that the subject simply studies with her, someone, every day. But if we add the modal verb can, it becomes conditional. She may study with this person, but it's not sure. I can study with her every day. I might not, but I can. It's possible. A modal verb is an auxiliary verb. This means that it's a helper verb. It is always placed before the main verb, and it cannot be used alone. I study with her every day. The main verb in this sentence is study. If we want to change this and add a modal verb, we can add the word can in front of study. I can study with her every day. As I mentioned, modal verbs can't be used alone. The sentence, I can with her every day, is not correct because the main verb is missing and it doesn't make sense. Let's take a look at 8 ways to use modal verbs. All of these things are conditional. Likelihood, possibility, ability, asking permission, request, giving advice, command, obligation, or necessity. Each of these things is conditional and can be used with modal verbs. Let's take a look first at likelihood. We can use modal verbs to show probability without certainty. This means that something is likely, but it's not 100% certain. We can use modal verbs must and should to make likelihood sentences. For example, that soup must be delicious. This means I haven't eaten that soup, I haven't tasted it, but I can smell it, I can see it, it smells good, it looks good. It is likely that this soup is delicious. Another way to use this for likelihood, my friend should arrive soon. I don't actually know where my friend is at this moment, but I know that it takes 1 hour to travel from her house to my house, and she left her house 1 hour ago, so it is likely that she will arrive soon. Another use for modal verbs is possibility. This means that something is not certain, but it could happen. It is possible. We can use the modal verbs may, might, or could to make these sentences. If there are dark clouds in the sky, it might rain. It doesn't always rain when there are dark clouds, but it is possible. If I look up in the sky and I see some dark clouds, I can assume that it is possible that it might rain. She is a busy chef, so she could be tired after work. I haven't actually spoken to her. I haven't asked her directly, so I don't really know how she feels. But I do know that being a chef is hard work, so it is possible that she is tired after working. She could be tired. The box is large. It may be heavy. I know that not all boxes are heavy, and I know that not all large boxes are heavy, but that box over there, it is large, and so it is possible that it could be heavy. We can also use modal verbs to show ability, something that someone or something is able or unable to do. We can use the modal verbs can, can't, or cannot to make these sentences. The dog can run so fast. This dog is able to run very fast. the door cannot be opened. Something is wrong with this door, or maybe it's locked, but the door is stuck. I am unable to open it, so it cannot be opened. She can't go to work today. She is sick, so she is unable to go to work. It's not possible for her to go. Modal verbs help us to ask permission. When we want to request the ability to do something, we can use modal verbs may, can, or could. It's also a good thing to know that when you are requesting something from someone, may is more formal and polite than can. So, for example, this girl wants to help her mom bake, so she says, "Mom, may I help you bake?" And her mom answers, "Yes, you may." She could also say, "Mom, can I help you bake?" But can also refers to ability. So we could say, well, yes, you can bake, but no, you may not. So to be clear and to be more polite, we usually try to use may in these kinds of sentences. Could we work together on this project? Yes, we can. Or, yes, we could. This is to show that he is willing to or he is able to work together with her on this project. Modal verbs are also used for requests. When we want to ask someone to do something for us, you can use the words could, can, will, or would. Will you play that song I like? You could also use can you play that song I like? Or would you, could you play that song I like? All of those words are okay for this kind of request sentence. Would you exercise with me? That means, are you willing to come with me to exercise? Could you help me with my homework, please? It's always good to add please to a request to be more polite. Also, when we use could, it's generally a little bit more gentle of a request than something like will. Will you help me with my homework, please? This is also correct, but it could be interpreted as a little bit more forceful or demanding than using the word could. Can we play again? These are all great ways to ask a request. Another way to use modal verbs is giving advice. When we want to suggest or recommend something to someone without necessarily commanding them, we can use the word should. This is how to suggest something to someone without directly telling them what to do. You should try this tea. It is delicious. I'm not saying you must try this tea. I'm not commanding you, but I am suggesting because I think that it's delicious and I think that you would like it. She should go for a walk outside. The weather is beautiful and she has been studying all day. I'm not telling her directly that she must go for a walk, but because she's been inside, the weather is great, and I think it's a good idea, I give her the advice or I suggest for her to go for a walk using the word should. Modal verbs can be used to make a command. This is when we want to order or strongly advise someone to do something. Words like must, have to, need to, these can be used to give an order or really strongly tell someone that you think something is a good idea. You need to study to succeed. This is necessary. You must do it in order to be able to succeed. He must not yell. She has a headache. She has to get some rest. She's not feeling well. It's very important for her. I strongly advise or I even command her to get some rest so that her headache will get better. Finally, we can also use modal verbs to express obligation or necessity. These are when we want to talk about necessary actions such as duties or responsibilities. Must, have to, need to. These are the modal verbs that will help us to explain necessary actions. She doesn't have to buy fruit. She already has some. So in this case, it's not necessary for her to do this thing because she already has some fruit. She doesn't need to buy any more. We all have to work together to protect the planet. This is all of our responsibility. It is all of our duty to show that we use this word or this expression, have to. I need to work in my garden. The carrots are ready to pick. It's my duty if I want to have my carrots, if I want to be able to eat them, if I don't want them to become rotten, I need to go outside and take care of them. Great. So now that you understand what a modal verb is and how to use them in sentences, let's play a little game to practice. Here we go, a little game on modal verbs. Oh no, she's sick. Make a modal verb sentence to help her. A, you can go to the doctor's office. B, would you go to the doctor's office? C, you must go to the doctor's office. The correct answer is C. We want to show that we strongly advise her to go to the doctor or even command her to go to the doctor because she is sick and she needs some medicine or some treatment. It's a beautiful day. Invite your friend to go for a walk with you. A, will you go for a walk with me? B, I can go for a walk with you. C, we must go for a walk. The correct answer is A. We are asking someone or requesting someone to go. So, will you go for a walk with me? Number 3. You are hungry for some soup. Request to use the kitchen. A, will I use the kitchen? B, should I use the kitchen? C, may I use the kitchen? The correct answer is C. You remember that may is a polite word to ask permission for something. Should would be if you were asking for a recommendation, and will is if you are trying to understand how to do something. But in this case, you are just requesting permission. May I use the kitchen? Number 4. This elephant is fast. Make a sentence about the elephant's skill. A, the elephant needs to run fast. B, the elephant can run fast. C, the elephant shouldn't run fast. This question asks you to make a sentence about the elephant's ability or skill. You remember that the modal verb for ability or skill is can, so it would be B, the elephant can run fast. Number 5. The rock has been sitting in the sun all day. How will the rock feel if I touch it with my hand? A, the rock can be cold after sitting in the sun. B, the rock must be very hot after sitting in the sun. C, the rock could be wet after sitting in the sun. As you might have guessed, the answer is B. We know that something sitting in the sun is going to get a lot of heat. I haven't touched the rock, so I don't know for sure, but it's a probability that the rock will be hot after sitting in the sun. So I can say the rock must be very hot after sitting in the sun. Choose the best modal verb to complete the sentence. The food has many chilies in it. It be spicy. A, it should be spicy. B, it has to be spicy. C, it might be spicy. The correct answer is C. I haven't tasted the chili, so I'm not sure, but I know that usually small chilies like this are quite spicy, so I can say that it might be spicy. Number 7. Choose the best modal verb to complete the sentence. This music is wonderful. You listen to it. A, you should listen to it. B, you can't listen to it. C, you might listen to it. The correct answer is A, should. You want to recommend someone to listen to this music. You are not commanding them, but you think this music is great and you think that they should give it a try. So we can say, you should listen to it. Number 8. Choose the best modal verb to complete the sentence. There is a festival today. We go to work. A. We can go to work. B. We must not go to work. C. We don't have to go to work. While all of these words technically make sense in this sentence, the most logical thing is that if there's a festival or a holiday, we probably don't have to go to work. So this would be C. We don't have to go to work. Today we have a holiday, we can take a break. Number 9. Replace the modal verb with a better one. He can't use his free time to study. Which word would make a better or more correct sentence? He will use his free time to study. B. He should use his free time to study. Or C. He might use his free time to study. We can see that this student is playing on his iPad or his phone when he should probably be studying. We want to recommend him to study, so we can say, he should use his free time to study. Question number 10. Replace the modal verb with the best one. Will I borrow your book? Should we replace will with A, should, B, may, or C, can? Just like we talked about earlier, may or can are both possible to use when you are asking someone for something, when you are making a request. But because can also shows ability of something, we can technically say, well, technically, yes, you can borrow my book. You are able to borrow my book, but I will not allow you to borrow my book. So if you are asking someone for permission for something, then you would want to use be, may. May I borrow your book? And then the person can say, yes, you may, or no, you may not. So that completes our lesson on modal verbs. Congratulations! You've successfully completed the lesson, and you did a really great job. Keep up the great work, and see you next time.